sehe es nicht so, aber boah, es geht übrigens ganz nach hinten. Willkommen sind zu unserer schönen Präsentation. Mein Name ist Hans-Peter Glock, ich bin PR- und Event-Koordinator bei Nintendo Österreich und wir haben was ganz Tolles für euch mitgebracht auf die Vienna Comic Con, nämlich wir zeigen euch Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Das kommt erst am 1. Dezember in den Handel, aber wir haben heute eine Live-Demonstration für euch. Mein Kollege von Nintendo Europe, der KW, wird das für euch machen und den bitte ich jetzt auf die Bühne. KW, bitte kommst du zu mir.
So, thank you everyone. Although I speak a bit of German, I will do the presentation in English today. I hope that's fine for everyone. So yeah, we can actually jump right in with the footage. Yeah, there we go. So, we're going to be presenting Xenoblade Chronicles 2 today, and I will show you one of the game's title, Uriah, which you actually just saw at the end of the trailer you just saw. That is the whale that you saw climbing to Elysium. So we've already said in the past that the story of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will always be on the body of Titans. One difference in Uriah is that you're actually inside the Titan. And right now I am in the stomach of the Titan. You can see that there's a lot of fauna, flora, and we will also see some beasts inside the stomach. But this Titan in general has a very different feel from the other Titans that you may see in the game. Each Titan really has its unique kind of look and feel, atmosphere as well. So you hear the music right now, and the music is a bit also more melancholic in this area of the game. Other Titans where you have a big wide space to explore will have more epic music, as you may have seen during the E3 presentation that we did for the game. So we will go around this Titan a fair bit later on, and I will show you what it looks like inside. But first I would just like to introduce quickly the characters that we have here on board. So the character you see in the middle of the screen is Rex. He is the main character of this game. On the left of the screen, so to his right, following him, there's Mithra on screen right now. So Mithra is the blade that Rex, who is a pilot, has currently equipped. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is that basically in the world of Xenoblade, and in particular in the team that you will be using in the game, they will always work in pairs. There will always be one pilot that is able to use the power of a blade, and there will always be the blade following him on screen that will give him power whenever he enters combat stage. So these are the two main characters. Well, actually, Rex is the main character, followed by Mithra here. There's this bond between the two. It's important to note that Mithra, what you're seeing on screen, is the personification of the blade. You could think that Mithra is of human species, but she's actually not. She's from a very different species, she's not human, and the relationship between these two species will play a major role in the story of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I don't want to talk more about the story simply because I do not want to spoil you. The game is coming out very soon. However, there's one last thing that I will mention. You may have noticed in the video that you just saw that you have Japanese voice acting. The game, when it ships, will have English voice acting, but anyone can just go on the eShop and download the Japanese voice pack as a free download from the day one. So you will be able to experience this adventure using only Japanese voices if that is the way you prefer to play. So just quickly to finish introducing the characters, on the right of the screen here you can see Nia, followed by her blade Dromark, that looks a bit like a lion. And on the left you can see the Nobon over there. So on the left of the screen there's the Nobon Tora, who is followed by his blade Poppy. The blade that Tora uses is actually a custom-made, artificial blade. So it's again a bit different from the other blades that we're going to show in the demo. So without further ado, let's get started. One other thing I can mention is that what you're seeing here is actually almost the final version of the game, so you are getting a first look at what the game will look like in 2 weeks. without many more adjustments coming. Here we have a collection point, so this is already one difference with previous Xenoblade titles. Now collection points, there's no longer the orbs spread all around the world. There's collection points that you can go to, and when you get them, you get not just one item, but you get more than one item. Here I will log on to the first enemy and get my sword out. So, you can see on the top of the screen that there's the name of the enemy. I'm quickly going to go to another enemy, just to show you that you can also see next to the name the element that he's weak to. So this will be important later on while I will explain more in depth the combat system, but just for you to know, as soon as you lock onto an enemy, you get this information, whether he has a weakness or not. On the top left of the screen, you can see the level of my characters, how much health they have left. And as soon as I get my weapon out, you will see that on the bottom left corner of the screen, there's all the blades. And on the bottom right part of the screen, there's the arts. So people who are familiar with the arts know what they are in Xenoblade Chronicles. They're basically the special attacks that you can use. And basically the lower right part of the screen corresponds to these 4 buttons, and the lower left part of the screen corresponds to these 4 weapons. I will explain why this makes a big difference with previous Xenoblade titles as I begin now fighting this Lindo Flammy in front of me. So, as soon as the character is close to an enemy, he will auto-attack. And as you can see, he does a 3-hit combo, and the second and third move always do much more damage. However, when you're moving around in this game, unlike in previous games, you don't attack at all. So you really have to make a call, whether you want to move around, avoid enemy attacks, or whether you prefer to attack. And then, as you attack, you basically fill in the gauges of the arts that you can see on the lower right part of the screen. You can see that Sword Dash, for example, is getting charged right now because I'm auto-attacking. Once it's charged, you can use these, and this helps you charge the other art that is at the right edge of the corner. And you can see there's the Roman numeral 1 now displayed there. This art is a special art, where, as you can see on screen, it's actually the blade that attacks, and it's also an elemental art. So you're using an element and applying an effect to the enemy. Here, because the enemy died so soon, you couldn't see it, but basically he was affected by light and taking damage as the combat went through. So I'm just going to do a quick second fight here in order to show you how the blades work. So, as I'm auto-attacking, or actually as I'm active in battle, you will see that the blades in the lower left corner are also charging. What this means is that as soon as they're charged, with just one button press, I will be able to go from one blade to another. And I will soon reach that stage. And once I'm there. So here you can also see there's break effects applied to the enemy. And if I use another attack, I can apply a topple effect to him. So this combo system from Xenoblade previous games is still present in this game, and you will be able to incapacitate basically the enemies to do more damage. So now you see that I can use other blades. They're all available in the lower left corner of the screen. So I'm just going to press a button. And here you go. I have changed blades. I'm using a different weapon, and you can see in the lower right corner of the screen that I have access to a whole new set of arts. Again, with just one button press, I can use these arts. Some of them do positional damage, like this one. Does more damage if I attack from the back. As I did it properly, a moon was displayed on the screen to indicate to the player he used it from the right position. I also get access to new elements. So this is actually a wind blade, so I can use a special art of wind type in this case. We saw earlier that there's the weakness of the characters that are displayed. You can also adapt to this, use the corresponding blades to be sure to make more damage in those cases. So moving on, I'm gonna go down here. So yeah, basically what I wanted to show you in this very early part, quick gameplay introduction, is that now you have access to arts and blades with different arts with just simple button presses. In previous Xenoblade Chronicles titles, you always had to navigate through a menu to get access to these. The menu was displayed in the middle of the screen, which was also not very convenient, so the whole UI has been rethought in order to allow the player to basically focus 100% on the combat, while just looking at the visual hints to know if something is ready, if an art is ready or not, and then with a maximum of 2 button presses, you are able to use this art. So here, I'm going to give you another quick look at Raya. As you can see, there's a lot of fauna and flora, and up there you can see that there's also some lights passing through. So yeah, the stomach of Uraya, this whale that we are inside of right now, also filters some light through, which is also what gives this luminosity. Depending on the time of day that you go through this part of the game, you will have a different feel. Especially when sunrise or sunset is happening, it will look a bit more red. When it's night, it will look a bit more dark, and during the daytime, there's light that passes through. So here, I will do another quick combat. So this was a quest, basically. I have just met some characters. There's some mercenaries who are on their first mission, and they're not very good at what they do. So they're asking for help. Now we'll basically just quickly join this combat with them. And start fighting my way through it. So here you may notice also there's some orange circles on the different characters of our cast. These circles should eventually go all to Tora, the Nopon on the right, simply because Tora is a more aggressive character. As such, he tends to attract enemy attacks on him. And this is basically the preset that Tora has in the game. Similarly, Nia, the other character, has the ability to heal. She's mainly a healing character. The reason why I'm mentioning this is that simply you are free to customize the blades of your characters as you want. And ultimately, it is the blades that make the difference. So if you put more blades, for example, that have more healing abilities on a character, you will by default make him a more healing-oriented character. I am actually aiming for this guy, which is not ideal here. So I will just go on, change some blades, and use the AoE attack as well. Switch my target instead. Why not? Sorry. Having a bit of difficulty changing my aim here, but now there we go. So I will take these few minutes also to just talk about what you're seeing in the top left corner of the screen. You see that there's this bar that is segmented in 3 parts that is now fully charged. This bar basically each of these segments basically allows you to revive a character if they fall in battle. Now I am lucky enough to not be in danger yet, and do fairly fine. But in the event that one of our characters falls, I can use this party gauge to revive one of these characters. Meantime here, I'm just going to be using an elemental attack. Try and accelerate things a bit. Yeah, so basically this big bird that is attacking us right here was not planned. He joined the party. And he's also attracting the attacks from my other team members, which is not ideal to be fair, because I would just like to complete the quests, which is defeating the Ignis that I have in front of me here. It looks as though that will be fairly difficult. We're trying to fight with the others briefly. Also go back to Mitra. So yeah, you can also see the button prompts on the left and right side of the screen saying stone and aqua. This is basically because the other pilots in your team behave the exact same way you do. Meaning that they're going to use auto attacks to get access to their arts. By using arts, they're going to get access to their special art that has an elemental power as well. So now I'm going to start using these in order to accelerate a bit things. Whenever you use a special art, it's the only case when actually the blade attacks himself. The rest of the time it's always the pilot that is wielding the blade, but if, for example, here I decide to use my special art, you will see I give the weapon back to Mitra, there's a button prompt, and she attacks. The rest of the time it's always the pilot handling the combat. So here we go. Now that that big bird is out of the way, things are going a lot quicker. There we go. Alright, so we actually completed the quest. There's another bird that joined the party, but I'm just going to ignore him now and run away as good as I can. There we go. So the quest is now completed. Bird, leave me alone. You don't want to leave me alone. The bird doesn't want to leave me alone. Fair enough. I will just give up at this point. So, basically here I showed you that there's a lot of customization that you can do on the characters by having different blades on them. Now you may wonder if there's a way to actually make your blades stronger, and this is what I'm going to show you here. So you can use different materials different materials and items to enhance your blades. And I will quickly show you this here by going on the blade. But in addition to this, there's also this sphere of abilities that a blade will have in the game. And you can upgrade your blades by basically using them in combat. That is one way to do it. As you can see here, for example, engaging in combat 5 times will give me the executioner skill. Another way to basically level up your blades is to send them on a mission. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send them on a mission here. So you can see that there's some requirements on the right of the screen for a mission to be successful. So I'm going to try and fill in the requirements now so that I can form a team and send these guys to battle. No, let's not do him. If we have another, there we go. But not ideal either. There we go. Alright. So now I will send these on a mission. There we go. So they're now going to go on a mission. They will be gone for 20 minutes, meaning that I won't be able to use them in combat. You can see that there's the countdown now at the bottom of the screen, and you will see when they come back, hopefully if we manage by the end of this presentation to see it, they will have new skills as they come back. They will have developed new abilities as they come back. So now I'm just going to move forward here a bit, show you a bit more of Uriah. I'm going to try and avoid all combat here in the next part. So yeah, you can see the beautiful landscapes of Uriah. It really has a unique feel. And you can expect a unique feel from all of the different titans that you will go through during the game. Just going to quickly stop here to show you. You see this hole here on this side? There used to be wood logs here actually. You can also use your blades outside of combat to have some interactions with different elements from the area. In this case, we used Pyra, which is another blade, to burn some wood logs. And by doing that, the water that was in this zone started going down, and we got access to a whole new zone. The reason why I'm mentioning this is simply because also the progression flow will be different from one titan to another. Sometimes you will be free to go anywhere you want, and in pure traditional Xenoblade fashion, you may come across some very strong enemies too early that you will leave for later. But in the case of Uriah, really, there's a progression that is more similar to a dungeon, where you will get access to new rooms, and these new rooms you will look for interactions, things that you can do that will then give you access to another room later on. So it's a progression more in line with what you could expect from a dungeon in other Nintendo titles, for example. So yeah, I'm just going through Raya a bit more, showing you a bit more what it looks like. I will definitely avoid this guy. And now basically we're just going to go through a bit of a longer combat, so I can show you deeper the combat system, a bit the deeper layers of the combat system. Here you can see that it's actually a sunrise now, so you really see the different feel immediately. Red colors coming in. Also, like any other Nintendo Switch title, naturally you will be able to play this huge adventure anywhere you go, because you will be able to play both on TV mode, like I'm doing now, or play in handheld. There we go. Another excavation. Alright, so this is the enemy I will try and face now, and my goal will be to show you deeper combat systems, in particular elemental combos, as well as ideally the toggle break system and launch system, although I have to say I will try and focus on the elemental combos. So there you saw an attack blowdown, which was very mean. It also adds stench to me, which makes me unable to use arts. My goal will be to seal this attack using elemental combos here. So on one side I have to reach level 3 of my elemental art, which is going to take a bit of time. Here we go. Attacking again. In order to charge my bar, I need to use my arts. A long while ago. So also the UI, as you can see, I'm not deactivating it because it's for a simple, in case people have never played Xenoblade, it's much clearer for them to see what is happening. But basically this UI can all be deactivated as well. If you feel like it's too invasive, you can just remove it and have access to all clean UI with no text. This is taking much longer than expected. I hope I will be able to make it. Not a good thing. Okay, I'm at level 1 now. Back at that later. There we go. So whenever you see, alright, wild blast again. Whenever you see this blue halo appearing on screen, that is because I am cancelling one of my normal moves with an art. This allows you to also do a bit of extra damage and to fill in your gauge a bit faster. So I will try to do that again now. Oh, missed there. I will attack this guy from the back, and there you go, this blue halo indicates that I properly cancelled a normal attack. Oh man. So I think it's very clear why I want to seal this attack. It's very annoying, it sends you off far, and makes you unable to attack for a few seconds. So here we go. Oh, now he's enraged as well, meaning that he's going to do a bit more damage on his side as well. Oh, I have also lost my art now, it seems. Alright, so I'm not sure how it will work. However, I'm just going to show you how it works in principle. So, I am using Tora's stone art here, and you will see that on the top right now of the screen, we have an elemental path that is shown. And if we use a fire, for example, if we use a fire art now, we can move up to the upper branch of the 3 things that are displayed there, so we will have the option to use Seal Blowdown or Seal Shackle Drive. So now I'm going to use the volcano. And there we go, volcano attack has been done, so we move up the elemental path, and now you can see that Seal Blowdown and Seal Shackle are given as options. I am afraid, however, that I won't be able to do those because I've lost my special arts earlier. Nevertheless, the idea is that when you go through this whole elemental combo, you seal that attack. So the enemy won't be able to use blowdown as it is doing on me right now. But by doing that, you also give... Oh, I have just passed away, so you can see that one of those segments revives me back in combat. But basically, yeah, if you fulfill the combo, you will basically seal one of the enemy attacks, but you will also give to the enemy resistance to a certain element. So in that case, it would have been wind because it would have been the last element we would have used. And once the enemy has this basically this resistance to a certain type, you can use, I passed away again. You can use one of the chain attacks that you may know from Xenoblade previous titles in order to get rid of that orb that protects him against a certain power. So basically what I want to show you is that the combo system is still very deep. Okay, I think this is it. That combat didn't go well at all. Dora, please. Thank you. And I think running away is the best option here. And no. Alright, fair enough. This went completely bad. Nevertheless, I'm not sure I will be able to show you the full process now, simply because we won't have the time to go through all of it again. But for you to know, yeah, the system, the combat system, has been really streamlined in order to, first of all, make things more accessible. You no longer have to go through the arts palette manually, but also it has not lost in its richness. With the elements that I showed you earlier, you basically have access to a palette of 3 arts per blade, so times 3, plus 3 elemental arts that you can also use, plus the 2 elemental arts from the other 2 characters. So basically you have access to 14 moves in combat that you can use by pressing a maximum of 2 buttons. Once you use all these different layers of blades and elemental combos, you will also be able to make more damage, but there's always the principle of give and take in this game. You have to make a decision. For example, if we had now placed the orb on the other enemy, and we had used a chain attack to get rid of it, we would have lost our party gauge, which in turn means that if one of your characters dies in battle, you will be unable to bring him back to life. So that could be game over in case it's the main character that falls in those cases. So there's always this strategic layer, making decisions. You have to basically evaluate your options and go with the options that make the most sense in that particular situation in which you're in. So now I'm just going to quickly avoid all combat again. Now we are at night, so you can see there's less light also in this area now. And we're going to try and go to that city over there, which will be our next stop. And I will just seize the opportunity to show you a bit more of the landscapes of Xeno-Reihe. So yeah, again, this gate opened up because we got rid of some water earlier in the story. Here you can see the city in the background. Some more enemies here around. So one thing that is also not present in this game that was in the previous Xenoblade is the indication on whether an enemy is hostile or not. Before in previous Xenoblade titles there was always a red eye on the characters that would indicate this character will attack you on sight. This is no longer the case, and our development team basically decided to remove this information so that the players discover from themselves what the fauna, flora, and the beasts of the different titans, how they behave like, and the players then adapt their playstyle accordingly. So here I will do just a quick stop to show you these guys in front of us. You can see also on this character there's a small emblem. This indicates that it's a unique character in the game. In this case, it's a group of pilots with their blades that is walking around. This is simply to show you that basically in this game, it will not only be the main characters, the pilots and the blades. Naturally, it is a rare breed. Not everyone is able to be a pilot in the game, but there will be other pilots that you will find throughout your adventure. Some of these can be faced in battle like these ones. and they will have the exact same moveset that you have, well, a similar moveset. They will also have auto attacks, arts, elemental arts, and so forth. So these tend to be rather challenging fights in the game, and they bring a unique vibe in comparison to the monsters that you're generally facing. So here I'm just going to look around a bit more to show you what it looks like. So yeah, also you can see the different levels of the enemies as I go through here. In pure Xenoblade tradition, there are sometimes level 80 enemies in the middle of them, and in those cases, depending on your level, you may want to avoid them at first and come back to them later. But this is also something that has been seen in many Xenoblade Chronicles titles, and it's the case here as well. Here we are about to reach the city. And here on my left you can actually see a mini titan. You can see that this mini titan is organic but also mechanic. This is actually a recurrent theme in the Xeno saga that started with Xenogears, that there's always this bond between, this link between artificial and organic, mechanical, stuff like that. And this is a recurrent theme really of the saga, and it's also developed in this title here. This titan is a good example of it, but also the blade I showed you earlier, Poppy, the blade that you see here on the left, also is a handcrafted blade. So again, there's always this bond and this link between the two elements that plays a key role in the Xeno saga, and it's also the case here. So here, as we enter the city, you can see that there's a lot of characters I can interact with. Some of these are just shops. It's the case here, you have a butcher, or you have a bread shop, or a bakery if you want. The characters that have speech bubbles are basically characters that give you quests that you can go fulfill for them. We're just going to move on for now. Go a bit higher in the city. So here we're on top of the city. You can see the gate behind me is open. We're not going to go there. However, I just want to show you from here. We basically started this demo much further in the background over there. We can barely see where we started from, but basically this is what we traversed and came here to the city for a different vibe again. You can see also that the city has been built taking in consideration the stomach's architecture. So this is also something you will discover in the game. Depending on the different species, some will have more or less a good or less good bond with nature, with the nature around them, with the titans around them. The titans are also always constantly moving in this game, meaning that there's really like the fauna, flora inside of them, but they are actually living creatures that you are walking on when playing through the game. So I'm just going to have a quick look, see where my mercenaries are. 3 more minutes for them. That sounds fair. I'm going to use this opportunity to show you another titan very briefly. Close your eyes if you don't want to get spoiled. But yeah, basically here, I just want to give you a quick look at a different titan, simply to show you that the feel is really very different. Yeah, the loading time there. So here you can see that this is Moradé, it's a different kingdom, and the whole set is way more desertic. it's sand-like, and also you can see it's an open space here, contrarily to where we were before, so you can always see the skies. Also quickly want to show you on the other side, here you can see the sea of clouds also, that the whole game will take place on. So you basically always will be above the sea of clouds, going from one titan to another, and the idea is really that each titan in the game has a different look, a different feel, a different atmosphere, different fauna, different flora, different beasts. So yeah, I hope you look forward to discovering the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and all these different titans with their own unique feel. And where are my mercs? One more minute to go. But I think I won't have the chance to show you what happens. But basically, you saw earlier in the sphere that there were some abilities that you can unlock by doing some things in battle. These can also automatically be unlocked by simply sending in mercenaries on missions. And it also gives you an indication of what the next skills are and what the next requirements will be to unlock those next builds as the characters come back, as the blades come back from their mercenary travel. And I think that will be it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will come out on Nintendo Switch on the 1st of December, and I hope you all look forward to it. Thank you very much.